Hello and welcome to Artists at Work. I'm George Alexander Thompson.
And I'm Rab Petherbridge. This episode we're going to be exploring the London Bridge area of London, having a little walking tour. It's going to be fun. And we're going to be talking to Jennifer Teifer
at the Unicorn Theatre.
She is the technical director and it's such an honour to have her on the podcast. I'm really excited about this episode. I'm in tune. Okay, awesome. Here we are behind the Tate Modern. It's a sunshiny day, not a cloud in the sky. George has a magnificent hat, and I would say I'm feeling 86% positive.
Is this episode 11 of season 3, or is this episode 1 of season 4?
No, it's episode 11 of season 3.
New year, new season?
Nothing drastic enough has happened.
It's actually episode 10.
For a new season.
But it's a new year.
There's been no divorce. There's been no deaths. We're still doing the same job. Everything's the same, George.
So we keep the season.
Everything's
Do
the
we
same.
only change the season when something changes?
Well, I think we only change the season when everything is fucked.
Okay, I like that. That's nice.
Nothing is fucked.
Well, in that case, welcome to Artists at Work.
That's nice.
Cheers! We just went to the Tate Modern. It was really nice.
It's very inspiring. Were you inspired?
Very inspired.
I'm inspired.
Do you want to get the bike? We'll go for a walk.
Yeah. Welcome to Artists at Work, the podcast about working artists and how the fuck we do that. Still not sure how, but here we are.
Welcome to 2022.
Woo!
New year.
I mean,
the sun's out.
It really is a bloody glorious day in
It's a really
London.
nice day. We've both really dressed up for it.
We have. We look sparkly. People are smiling. I mean, we're still in the global Penny D, but like I'm not feeling so...
The global Penny D is so nice.
But I'm not feeling as neggy Betsy about it anymore, you know?
Yeah, last year was pretty shit, man.
Yeah.
A lot of shit went down.
I mean, the very turn of January just kind of makes everything feel okay. George, do you have any news?
Yes. Oh, I've got some really cute news. Over Christmas, my older brother Edward and his wife came over from New York with their son Arthur, my nephew, who is a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years old. And we just hung out, like coloured in, played silly games, played with loads of toys. Like, he's such a button.
Oh, and like that's the first time you've met him because he lives in New York.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I didn't get to meet him for the first year and a half of his life.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No worries. Oh, that's nice. Jogger running past.
Yeah, that was just a jogger. A very polite English jogger.
So that's one bit of news.
Lovely calves.
Oh, and my other, lovely calves. My other bit of news is that before Christmas, I was asked to do the set and costume design for a film called Three Birds by Dino Jacovides.
I don't know who that is.
No, you don't. You've not met Dino.
Okay.
But it was really nice. Amber, who you do know, did the makeup for it.
Okay.
He wrote the script. Dino wrote the script.
What was it about?
Oh my god, it's really brilliant. It's sort of like quite a dark comedy about a guy who gets run over outside a pub and goes into the pub, but the pub is purgatory, and his girlfriend and the guy that she's having an affair with and this awful bartender lady just rip it out of him. And it's really, really funny, really beautiful.
Well, don't give it all away.
No, exactly.
And tell me,
But
how
it
can
was
we
great.
catch it?
Well, what I'm going to do is actually speak to Dino about coming on and doing an episode with us.
Oh, okay, amazing.
And then we can give all the details because...
Watch this space.
Yeah, it's still one of those things in my head where sort of all happens so quickly and you don't really take it all in. So it'd be nice to do a proper debrief breakdown with him.
Oh, nice. Have you got any more news?
I think that's it. I did have another bit of news, but I can't remember what it was. What's your news?
My news. Well, I'm back working again, which is nice. I'm kind of picking up steam a little bit. And I recently did some photography for a children's theatre called Jack, Jill and the Landfill. And it's so cute. It's by Moth Physical Theatre. And it was just really nice to go out and photograph. Really, really nice to meet the puppets. I really like meeting puppets for kids shows.
That's cute.
when there's no kids around, because there's a lot of sarcasm. There's a lot of there's a lot of sass.
Oh, what, like puppets in the green room before they go out?
Yeah, like I'll just have one more cigarette, then I'm going out.
Being really rude to their minders and stuff.
Yeah, it's just saying you're not the boss of me, as they kind of shove their hand up your arse. But it was really, really nice and creative and rainbowish and really bright and beautiful. And I feel like that's kind of, even though I am very dark and moody, if you look at the Les Enfants photography that I've done over the years, I feel like I'm turning a joyful corner with my photography.
Doing more bright stuff.
Yeah, like a lot more colour, a lot less doom and gloom, and it's kind of nice to bring in the new year like that. We have joint news about Eldil Reams. We did a photo shoot. This was magnificent.
A meat photo shoot.
The meat photo shoot. When you have about 10p to make a shoot. And me and George were just like, we can do it, it's fine. And it was myself, Eldil Reams, Portia and our friend Emer. Deneen. But we went and did a photo shoot somewhere in central London.
Yeah, it
went
was
to the
right
top of this
near
building.
Bond Street Station.
Mm-hmm. And we had some plastic sheeting. We had some huge plastic sheeting, and we just made everybody play with that to some 80s Pride music, and danced the night away. And kind of were very gay and camp, and the pictures came out so sexy.
It was a real, and I think people do forget this. I think two things. We're very used to working on such a tight budget that you do get good at making things look really good for very cheap.
Yeah.
But equally, you shouldn't have to do that, and it is nice when you get a proper budget so you can do stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, but
that was special because it just was a complete accident that plastic sheeting looked like water, air,
saran wrap on meat.
Like, it was so beautiful, and it just, there was magic in the room, it was
there
5
really
people who love
was.
each other, working creatively together. It was nice.
It was that kind of, when you're collaborating over years, and then that all comes together when you have fucking no budget. It's quite humbling, and it's also quite inspiring how much you can do without having to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because your minds are so connected, and that's the wonderful thing about regularly working with people that you love and admire. I think all of the people in that room are better than me, and that's the way I want to keep working for the rest of my life.
Well, I think we were talking about that last night with someone, was that we all have that level of imposter syndrome, where we think everyone that's working with us is better than us.
Yeah.
But realistically, we're all as good as each other, and that's why it works so well.
Yeah, we're always just pulling each other forward.
And it's the same brain. We have it when we're doing scenic jobs together.
Yeah.
You just, you know what someone wants. Like, you've got a visual of what they're going to find good or not, or what their humour is. And when you harness that, it's such a nice way to work.
It really is. We're
going to go in a tunnel.
We're going in a tunnel. And it's one of those red
sing us a song in the tunnel, Ra.
Which song?
I don't know. Some Irish thing.
Okay. Oh, Roma Carrickeeners. Oh, Roma Bodgeen. Oh, Roma Carrickeeners. Oh, Roma Bodgeen. There you go.
Nice.
Thanks. Well, we're currently at a bridge. George, what fucking bridge is it?
Well, London Bridge.
Is it?
Is it not?
No, couldn't be.
Well, I thought that was the whole point of coming. Oh, hi. No, that's totally fine.
Oh, you're grand, don't worry.
She knows you.
Oh. How you doing?
This is very exciting. I love when this happens in London.
Nice. Okay. Bye, have a good day. Is this London Bridge?
No, London Bridge is 2 down apparently. This was Southwark Bridge.
That's sort of, what the fuck is that?
It's only
joke?
been, how long? It was your 18 years in London yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was my 18-year anniversary in London, and it's such a nice way to celebrate it by walking down South Bank and realising I don't know any of the bridges.
No, but do you remember when we all used to know the bridges because you didn't have a phone and you had to fucking know where you were?
Oh, we had an A to Z. When I first moved to London, I had an A to Z, and you would have it in your hands like your phone.
Be like absolutely pickled at 4 o'clock in the morning, desperately trying to find page 142. You're like, why is this happening to me?
Why does number 5 lead to number 17? It was so hard, but like, I'm so glad that my brain doesn't have to work that hard to navigate London anymore. At the same time, I don't know where we are, but we are approaching Nando's.
We're at the Globe. No?
We just passed the Globe, you know.
We passed the Globe.
Yeah, we've got Nando's. My friend Charles used to work in there and get me discount. It was fucking great.
I fucking hate Nando's.
Why?
It's the worst.
It's not actually.
Why wouldn't you just go home and roast a chicken instead of paying £12 for a tiny piece of 10 chickens?
I think it's quite nice.
It's crap.
I only ever get the halloumi wrap though, or the mushroom wrap.
Yeah,
I have a lot of memories of this pub. It's called the Anchor. And usually when the Globe lets out, I'd go there and have a little gaggle and a talk about,
it's got lots of ups and downs and like little, like...
It's very
really
fully
old
over.
school, isn't
it?
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, I just love that I ran into my friend Georgia. That's so amazing. We went to Rose Bruford together. Both did stage management. She was an incredible stage manager and she's really good at making eye contact. It's such a talent when you're a stage manager because nobody's ever going to fuck with you because you can make really good eye contact.
Yeah, that's true actually, I think.
Oh, we've just walked up to a mural of
Shakespeare?
Billy Shakespeare.
The Billy Shakespeare.
It's a nice one. It's very colourful.
It's very cute, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, we're in another tunnel. I'm not going to sing again though because...
I really love this little bit of London. It's all these like really... It's the proper oldie bit, isn't it? Like the thin bricks.
It's just, I forget that being in London, even though everyone's wearing a mask and that's slightly dystopian, everything is quite exciting. The diversity, the weird tourist trap shops.
I just haven't been around here for ages because you sort of avoid it.
Well, yeah, you don't do the tourist kind of meanders when you live in London. For 18 years it's my anniversary. I already said that, but so...
Yeah, but happy anniversary.
Thanks.
That means I've been here for at least 15.
Oh my God, yeah, we went to the Tate.
Twombly. Oh, fuck, I've forgotten it now.
Twombly.
Twombly.
Cy Twombly.
Cy Twombly.
So our absolute pick of the Tate is Cy Twombly. I mean, say the name, say it out loud if you're listening to the podcast, say Cy Twombly.
And then smile.
And then imagine what that looks like. And you've probably imagined his artwork. Is it he?
Yes. Yeah. I believe American, 1970s probably. Maybe a bit earlier.
Huge swirls, big red swirly whirlies.
Just gorgeous, colourful, like energetic.
And I was like, he did that with a brush and a stick, didn't he? And then I read the description, it's like a brush on a stick.
Brush on a stick. Like huge canvases, 3 huge canvases in one room, and the room glowed pink because there was so much red bouncing off everything.
It was
kind of like the air was pink.
It was like glee.
Yeah, it was like joy. It was like being in a big candy shop that was like really vibrantly coloured.
Do you know what it is? It's a candy shop for painters.
But you know what? I studied him at uni so much. I was really interested in his work, particularly his like sculptures are really interesting. And then you sort of stop going to the galleries after you finish uni, and then you get into work, and like it all going back today felt like seeing like loads of old friends, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, and I remember you, and like
I suppose beautiful. I forget about how much I loved our approach to each canvas that we saw, because I went up and I was like, oh yes, they've used a really nice primer on that, and blah 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 blah, and you're like, oh, the mood is really amazing, and I'm just like, yeah, technically blah blah blah.
Yeah, I love that you were looking at the kind of actual way they were being painted. I think it's really nice that there's that balance when we look at artwork together.
Yeah,
because I am always very interested in just like the colours, the mood, how it makes me feel. If I don't like it, I'll just move on. I won't try and like it. Oh, let's go around.
Yeah, let's go around. So we just approached. I mean, the view is spectacular.
The smell, like Borough Market, God.
There's so many stalls around us, all selling what looks like little pieces of art that you can eat.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's like, just everything is so superb.
Sign. Lee Brothers Potato Merchants.
I mean, if you're in London, I know people are all over the world listening, but just Google Borough Market, have a look at it while you're walking with us, and just kind of feel the mood of all these gorgeous sellers making beautiful things for us to have,
Do you remember when we were working at the Unicorn and we got lunch from Hobbs?
Oh we got the halloumi wraps. Oh, that was good.
They do gorgeous. I had the pulled pork wrap, and
Yeah.
you had the halloumi wrap, and it was just
It was divine. Really, really nice.
so many great bits of food.
Yeah, so we're heading to the Unicorn where we did a couple of jobs last year, and we're going to go and interview the technical director there, Jenn. While we were working at the Unicorn, it was a really tough time for both me and George, and we decided to blow all of our wages on eating incredibly well. And it was worth it because it just makes for gorgeous memories in a beautiful
It was
city.
really nice. I mean, I really believe in the, working on a budget, getting the meal deal from Tesco's, eating the same sandwich from Pret 4 days in a row. But we were having a pretty tricky time,
Yeah.
and really great food can really help cheer you up, I reckon. Do we go straight down here?
Yeah, we can do. It's a nicer, quieter walk, I think.
Yeah, I don't want to go through the main station.
So we're heading down St. Thomas Street, which is just kind of adjacent to the hospitals.
Oh, Bunch of Grapes, that's one of my favourite old pubs.
Yeah, you used to take me there a lot.
Yeah,
We've been
I
there.
don't know why we would have been here. Oh my god, so cool
Do you want to go on the
skateboard.
inside, G?
Yeah, where do you want me to go? You're both walking circles around me, I'm getting quite confused.
Wheels easily done with you. I always love that building there with like the stars on it, but I don't really know what it is.
I
It
just
says
want to
Keith's
go on the
House.
balcony and have a cigarette, you know?
I'd like to go out there in one of those pointy hats with a ribbon out the end.
Oh, yeah, like a Renaissance lady
Yeah.
getting bought for chattel.
So this building, it's like a big one. It's just a big rectangle. It's very, brutalist, but I quite like it.
Do you know what it is? Oh, that's the hospital.
Oh, it's the fucking hospital, isn't it?
Of course it's the
Duh.
hospital. What is that enormous building in the middle of St Thomas's? It's the hospital.
And then right next to it is the Shard,
This
if
is
you're
where my
listening.
dad trained to be a doctor.
Oh, stop, really?
Yeah, guys.
He's wearing the same brand hat as you.
Huh?
So George is wearing a Child
Oh
of
yeah,
Diego
Child
hat.
Diego. I should have. I didn't doff my cap.
No, you need to.
Oh, really?
So George, Google it, is wearing a Child of Diego hat, the Sandman, and it's such a lovely thing to walk
They've
around
become
with.
very popular, and I definitely had mine first.
Okay, just so you all know. Ooh, this isn't
And,
good. Shangri-La still have their Christmas tree up.
Oh,
It is
dear.
well past the 9th.
It is gone past the 6th.
Oh, is it the 6th? I thought it was the
Got all their
9th.
Christmas trees up.
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, we're at the hotel. We're just outside the hotel that's at the Shard.
Oh,
Maybe we should go up the Shard.
well, we
one
could
day.
do. Rasheen took me there for some champagne for my birthday.
Aw.
And we had the nicest time. We had this cute little table, and it was just the two of us, and we were like, absolutely, like the most giggly fun we've had. It was gorgeous.
I mean, big shout out to Roisin as well. She works down at the White Cube, which is local
oh,
to
it's
here.
just down there.
It's such an incredible museum. I mean, there's so much freaking crammed into this area.
I think that's the thing. I often used to think of London Bridge just being like commuter zone, bit of a nightmare. But actually, once you get onto Bermondsey Street and all the little places around here, and Box Park, new now, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a box park
That's a
kind of
nice
place. And as well, there's a fashion textile museum where you can buy House of Quixote gift cards
Oh,
if
not
you
anymore.
want.
They won't stock my cards anymore.
Why? What's wrong with them?
Because it's a different exhibition.
Well, I think that's ludicrous. You can just send us
no,
an
we've
email to
had,
artists@working@gmail.com and we can make a purchase there.
Well, I don't think I have. I mean, that's factually incorrect. I don't have any of those cards left.
Okay, just buy some coasters.
Yeah, exactly. Go on my Instagram, buy some of my other things.
Oh, here we are at the kind of behind London Bridge station, and there's that train carriage done by, what are they called?
Oh, I can never remember with the red ants on it.
Yeah.
So nice.
It's Joe Rush. What were they called? Joe Rush used to live in Deptford, and he had this big old warehouse where he just welded weird shit together. And I went to Glastonbury, I think 2007, and worked at the Unfairground, which was just all mutoid fucking waste. Google mutoid waste.
What's mutoid waste?
That's the guys that do these ants on the...
Oh, okay. That
And they
makes
did
sense.
the Unfairground, and it
Is
was...
there anything in the train carriage? Can you get into? Is it a bar or anything, or is
Well-
it just like a structure?
Well, it says Blue Moon on the side, so maybe they sell Blue Moon?
I do like Blue Moon. That's one that you get with a slice of orange in the top.
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
really nice. Yeah, this is the Vinegar Yard, which is just behind London Bridge Station.
Yeah, which isn't a box park. It's a different thing, isn't
yeah,
it?
no, it looks like a box park because there is a box.
Yeah.
So I
It's,
understand where you got it from.
No, but we went there just before Christmas. They had a really nice Christmas market. It was really cute.
Yeah,
Really lovely
I bought
people.
clothes in there before. And then, yeah, they sell all kinds of things.
That was where we went. We went that night after. Gosh, we were with Laura. What had we been working on?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, it was the unicorn. It was the mural at the unicorn.
Oh, yeah, we did this mural at the
And
unicorn.
then when we finished, we went there after. We went to Jose's. Then we bumped into Isabel on the street. Then we went there, and it was just like a glorious day
was
where like
just a
10
lovely
people
day.
all managed to be in the same place at once.
See, that is the nice thing when you live in London for 18 years. Happy anniversary, Ra. You do get to a point where you run into people on the fucking street.
So we'll do the interview with Jenn, and then we can all walk down to Jose's and have a little sherry and some nibbly bits
Oh, nice.
as a cocktail moment. Because we were going to have something else, but it didn't arrive, so I'll do that next time.
Do you ever, now this is a scenic thing, to any scenics out there listening, fucking great bricks around here, guys.
Yeah, all
really
the graffiti
leaky.
look like dirty,
I'm like,
dirty down.
every time I see bricks like this, I'm like, how would I make that in a set, you know? It's like, what would I use? Just a load of like, a lot of thick paint.
I really like the bits where it's really old, and then it's chipped off, so you get the kind of new stuff underneath, and it like highlights how dirty it is.
Well, there's a great function to the bricks as well. Don't they act as drainage?
Yeah, there's something, I've never really understood it, but everyone always says that about the vaults, is that the water kind of seeps in and out, and so
Like
it's
bricks,
always wet, but it's never going to crumble or something.
like bricks are a smart thing. Wish I knew more about that. I would say, if you're listening, Google it and maybe tell us.
Or if you're an architect, get in touch. I really wanted to do architecture when I was a kid, and then I found out it was 8 years of study, and I was like, nah, it's not going to happen. That tree looks as sad as the one in Trafalgar Square at Christmas. That made me angry this year.
What happened?
The shoddy little Christmas tree that they put in Trafalgar Square. I understand that it got waylaid and the poor tree was on the back of the lorry for too long and died a little bit. But they could have put some tinsel around it and made it look a bit more glamorous.
Oh, gosh.
Scenic it. Make people feel happy. Don't just put like a dead Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square at the
know
most
what?
depressing time of the year during a pandemic.
George,
Come
do you know
on.
what? You've got a point. We need to be out there more. More people need to know about scenics, and when people see horrible atrocities like that, they should be you should call Ron George, I'll sort that out.
Well, it's such a thing of hope and happiness. Like a big gorgeous Christmas tree in the middle of your city is like a lovely thing. And if you're feeling a bit sad, you can go there and make yourself feel a bit Christmassy.
That's true.
And
we
you
did
go
that.
there. We went there, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, the world's on fire. The Christmas tree's dead. Boris Johnson doesn't give a fuck about anyone. And there's like, you can't even get up to it because there's a security risk.
Oh,
So
George,
sad.
stop. Anyway, look, we're just at a residential zone in London Bridge, and it's kind of cool.
I do really like these flats. They're really well designed.
Yeah, they've got
The
nice
little
big
gardens
windows.
and balconies. Have also been obsessed with scaffolding for years.
So I've always wondered about these buildings that look like they've got tiles on the outside. Have they got tiles on the outside?
What, these?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, he's miles away.
That scared me. I think we're in the wrong place. Oh, no, it's there. Well done. I never trust Ra's directions, but she's
Why?
actually very good at them.
I know we overshot it a bit, but like,
Well, I don't know why actually, because you're always very good at it, and I always just in my head.
it's because I'm not looking at a map. I think
No,
that's your
Do
issue.
you know what? If I'm really honest with you, it's because you're clumsy, and I associate clumsiness with not knowing directions.
That's fair. I don't know my left from my right, but I am able to assemble a map in my head from memory
But
very
that's
easily.
what I mean. Whereas, like,
You don't see things as a bird's eye view. It's like when
what was I doing?
when I think of where I am, whether I'm in Dublin or Venice or anywhere I've been in the world, I bring up the map of the area and see the roads that I've taken, and they all link up or they don't link
Yeah.
up.
I'm convinced if we went back to Venice, you'd be able to take me straight to that wine bowl we went to.
I actually would.
and
I
would
actually
not, I
would.
would never find it ever again.
I'd be able to go to the paper shop that I found, and I think that's great. But I also find it kind of weird that your brain doesn't do
Oh,
that.
you bought one of Cressida's maps, didn't you?
Well, I bought
theatre
Cressida,
map.
Cressida cards. I got a year planner, and it was regional theatres. It was really nice.
Cressida Piva, just gorgeous illustrations.
Look up
Wonderful shop.
cressidacards.com. She's just lovely, lovely works, really reasonably priced, handmade gorgeousness.
And she's got a map of in the National Theatre. I think she just got it into the National Theatre shop. It's an illustrated map of all the theatres in London. I think there's like 200 of them. and it's so beautiful.
Oh, she is
And I just
smashing.
think everyone should support her and buy her work because it's magnificent.
And also, if you want to listen to more about her, episode 9 of season 1, 3 Witches of
That's the other thing, you're really
Shotgun.
good at remembering the names of everything.
That's because I put them all, I upload them all. So we've just arrived at the Unicorn Theatre. Shall we...
Let's head in, settle ourselves down and see where we're at. Masks on,
Lovely
ladies.
walk. Welcome to Poetry Moment. George, I'd like to go back in time a little.
I can see that you've got a notebook with you from 1998.
I wouldn't call this a notebook, I'd call it a jotter. It's got a spiral top. It's a jotter.
Jotter.
A jotter.
You would pronounce that jotter.
All right, well, good for you. So this is a diary entry from 1998, January 1998. So that is literally 26 years ago.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah,
That's a long
like
time
to
ago.
date. And I found it weird that it just kind of popped up and I was like, oh my God, there's an anniversary. And it made me sad. And I was like, who is this chick? In all fairness, my mother had just died and my family had fallen to pieces. My uncle died the year before and everyone was just dead around me. So I found it weird that it landed on my lap. Anyway, it goes, today I was going to start again. At being me, at being somebody else. I failed to be a daughter, failed to be a friend or make a friend. I'll go now. As I was not me no more. And that, like, I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? That's so sad.
That's so intense.
And I'm like, oh, darn. And this is about when I started stuffing myself with piercings. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, kind of pain trauma.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, babe, you just needed to go and talk to a therapist. But I liked the transition that I've made over the past 26 years to being a bit more confident. And then I found... this book from when I used to live in Florence Villa, which is about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago. And I was like, oh, coincidentally, that has fallen into my lap. And then I'm like, I'm a different, like in the first entry from 1998, I'm like, oh God, I'm just really depressed. And then the second entry from 10 years ago, I'm like, God, I'm just really worried and angry and feel like I'm a piece of shit. So this is called Ode to Perfection.
Nice.
And it goes, Ode to Perfection. Is that ready? No. When is it ready? No. Are you ready? No. Did that go well? No. Was that great? No. You're doing really well? No. You're talented? No. I can see that? No. You're a great mum? No. Your house is nice? No. Play the piano first? No. I really love you? No. Everything is broken? I agree. End.
The more we do this and go through this, I'm sort of becoming more aware of how big the sort of volume of your work is. Because when we started the podcast, you were like, oh, I'm going to start writing a bit of poetry. But you've sort of been doing it your whole life since you were a child.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would
like
be
all
really
my
interesting to digitalize all of your work and chronologically order it and then try and build a, like a book, but like a, just like a chronological order of your writing, because it's fascinating.
Well, thank you. I mean, it is like, 3 decades worth of like just very anxious me's falling onto a page. But like I look back on these two versions of me and I feel very much so like a different person, which brought me on to, well, where do you go with these bad feelings that made me feel bad about myself? I'm like, well, you go to the fucking poetry pharmacy.
Of course.
Of course.
It's our favourite.
So I looked up one for letting go, which is clearly what needs to happen from the chick that wrote these.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I looked up the condition of letting go, which is also suitable for heartbreak, loss or setbacks. And I've had a lot of them. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, let's look at that. So this, for the condition of letting go, this one is called One Art by Elizabeth Bishop. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Take a breath. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things seem filled with the intent to be lost, that their loss isn't a disaster. Lose something every day. Accept the fluster of lost door keys. The hour badly spent, the art of losing isn't hard to master. The practice, losing farther, losing faster, places and names, and where was you meant to travel. None of these will bring disaster. I lost my mother's watch, and look, my last or next to last of 3 loved houses went. The art of losing isn't hard to master.
I lost 2 cities, lovely ones, and vaster some realms I owed, 2 rivers, a continent. I miss them, but it wasn't a disaster. Even losing you, the joking voice, a gesture I love. I shan't have lied. It's evident, the art of losing, not too hard to master, though it may look like, write it, like disaster. End.
I really like that.
Yeah, it's good.
I have never been very good at it's particularly when I lose things that I love, whether it's jewellery or belongings or things. I get really upset about it. And more recently, I've been able to go, it's just a thing. It doesn't matter. It's actually not, just step away from it. And I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
My brother for Christmas gave me a book called The Artist's Way, which I think, who were we talking to the other day who...
We were
knew about it. Rosanna got given
Terberg.
3 copies in 1 year. My brother gave me a copy this year, and it's a very interesting look at being an artist and the sort of productivity you have by letting go of old work and creating.
Is it a poetry book? What kind of book is it?
No, it's kind of a guide to how to manage your time well as an artist. But one of the key bits of advice is write morning pages, write 3 pages every morning of kind of free thought, where you just write what you're thinking.
We have been doing that recently. I mean, it's my top tip is write, moment of sanity very quickly, write everything down. It's really important.
Because I think that's a really good way of like that journey that you've just been on with those pieces of work.
I'm just looking through the decades.
Yeah, and how you grow by writing it down, you connect to a problem, you work on the problem, you write down the next problem, and then you're always in a cycle of just being conscious of what your subconscious is doing.
So going from all of that and like going to the pharmacy, realising that I was a fucked up child, and weren't we all fucked up children? I mean, that's fine. I was very angry and full of loss and grief, and still am to a certain extent, but I go to therapy twice a week now, so
nice.
I'm totally through it.
Getting there at least.
This is a book I love. It's called Poems for a World Gone to Shit. And it's good. So chapter 4 is Let's Do Something About This Shit, which is my favourite kind of part of the book. And today I've selected The Happy Man from a translation of... educated people, please say what that is.
From the translation of Horace's Odes. If I'm not mistaken, an old Latin writer? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Jenn. Latin or Greek. Latin.
And this feels like it's my current outlook, and I'm happy about that. Happy the Man is what it's called. Happy the man, and happy he alone. He who can call today his own. He who, secure within, can say, tomorrow do thy worst, for I have lived today. It's very us.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very simple, to the point.
Bring it on. Today's been grand.
Bring it on. We've had a good day. Tomorrow will be great.
Done. So just walked into the room, George.
Very excited.
Is the technical director of the Unicorn Theatre. Is that right?
Yes, production and technical director, just to be a little bit over the top.
What an incredible title that you have. It's
you.
Jenn. I struggle to pronounce your surname.
It's Thai Fair, so it's French-Canadian.
French-Canadian?
Yes.
Nice.
Jennifer Thai Fair.
We first met you when we came to the Unicorn, which is where we're at now, which is such a privilege and an honour to be here.
It's amazing to be recording here. It's such a treat.
We just love this venue so much. Would you like to join us for a poetry moment?
Yes, I would love to. I picked one this morning, and I thought I'll read it, and then I'll tell you the background. Is that?
Yeah,
that's a really nice way to do it.
And I felt like this was a really nice one for the new year. It's called I Have the Urge. I have the urge of wandering with him, going beyond mystic clouds that darken a morning sky, following narrow cobblestone streets where huddled shops that drench the air with heavy scents of East sell wishes, a penny apiece, and magic gardens that flower to your mind. And then, skipping to the rhythm of ancient days, round bells and baskets that crowd every doorway, past houses of old lace that cherish children's laughter, we'd take the path that runs forever until we reach the sun.
Quite beautiful.
That's so beautiful.
And I
want that
picked
childhood.
Well, no, I picked this one because we're always here, and it's called Being a Mother.
Oh, that's what I do.
Little child, you grow too fast, and in your head-spinning rush through this springtime, you leave me behind. I have so much yet to tell you. I have so much yet to show you. I haven't finished sharing your childhood.
Oh, that's so bloody true. Why does he keep growing? It's really upsetting
so
me.
Beautiful.
I'm like, stop it. I need you to be a nugget forever.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to do.
Yeah, exactly.
It was seeing him. I saw him the other day, and he's lost one of his front teeth. And I was like, "You're getting too big. Stop it."
So those were from A Harvest of Random, and I also have Everblue, and these are my mother's books.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I actually brought these as gifts for you.
Oh my god, that's so nice.
To each have one.
So your mum's a
thank
poet.
you.
Yeah, so that's the one that I just read from, and that's Everblue.
Oh, beautiful.
And these are her books, and she writes poetry, and she also took all the photos in them as well. So,
oh wow!
yeah.
Thank you. That's
giving me
magical.
chills. Look at that. I've got goosebumps. They were really beautiful and so illustrative.
Yeah.
Is she an artist?
Yes, she is. Yeah. Her name's Judith Andrews. She lives on the west coast of Canada.
Oh wow!
She's my mum. And those are just...
Oh, look at the picture of the horse. We'll post some of this on Instagram. These are so beautiful.
Is that okay to do?
Yes, I'm sure she won't mind.
Are these available if people want to get hold of them?
I have them.
Okay, cool.
So just get in touch with Jenn
Yeah.
the Unicorn.
I'll get you a book.
Well, what would be really nice is when we get round to, our plan is to do a website where people who have contributed to the podcast can sell things if they want to. So maybe that would be an option.
facilitate that.
That would be lovely.
Jen, that's so kind. Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
beautiful.
I love how much poetry we're collecting
We've
on this
had
podcast.
a very lovely poetry couple of days. It's been amazing.
We really have. Last night I did a performance.
Oh, where?
In Soho.
Yeah, at the Nellie Dean pub in Soho.
It's a pie house. There was no pies there. But it was really good. It was our friend's book launch, Maladaptive. We'll get you a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Maladaptive in the next
Oh my
episode.
God, we should do little gift packs.
That would be
That'd
cute.
be
wouldn't
really
it?
cute. We'll get to that
On with favourite things.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I'm
George,
kicking the table.
Who wants to start favourite things?
I'll go first.
Okay, go, George.
I've got two favourite things. I've got a work thing and a home thing.
Okay.
The work thing is because I was working at Liberty. Does everyone know the big fancy store?
Yes.
With Rule One Productions, and we were hanging stuff in their windows. And I was thinking, I was like, how are we going to hang this? It's a bit of a nightmare. We need this and that. I was sort of going through it in my head. And the guy was like, dude, we've got zip clips. And I was like, what's a zip clip? And he was like, it's a little clip. And I know it's not helpful that I'm holding one on a podcast, but it's a little square clip with an in and an out.
Google
and
zip
two
clip.
arrows. And you put your piece of wire through the in section, loop it over whatever you're hanging from, and then loop it back into the zip clip. And it's got little clips on the side, so it's adjustable. So it's like...
Do you know these, Jen?
I mean, Jen's nodding like, how do you not know about these already? Like, everyone in the world.
No, I'm nodding like these are a magical piece of
they
kit.
But you know when you,
revolutionary?
I should have known about these years ago because I've spent years
It's
hanging
basically
stuff out.
a functioning crimp.
Yeah, it's a crimp that you can adjust.
It's a fun crimp.
And I'm just going to order loads of them and keep them in my bag. They're so useful.
If you're listening, just Google yourself a zip clip.
Zip clip.
Zip clip.
Patented. They're gorgeous. And they're cool as well. They look amazing.
They do look kind of nifty.
And then my thing from home
I'm so furious at this.
is, we went to Gales before we started recording on our walk to get some coffee and some cinnamon rolls because
I've never
Gales is
been to Gales.
amazing. Ra's never been to Gales, and I just saw their chocolate spread, and Al, my partner, loves chocolate spread, and I was like, I'll just pick up a jar of chocolate spread. And then I saw that it was £10.
£10.
And I was like, I'm not getting chocolate spread for £10. That's fucking ridiculous. But then you go to the till, and it was just right there in front of the till, and I was like, I'll just get this as well.
I mean, it's not really an impulse item if it's a tenner.
No, I know, but it does look... I mean, you hate the packaging, but I think it looks really cute.
It's got Helvetica font that says hazelnut and chocolate spread, and it just looks like ration spread.
I
Do you
bet
know what
it's
I mean?
really delicious.
It's like, and I
paid 7 stumps for this spread.
I would let everyone try some, but then it wouldn't be a present for Ali, and then I couldn't justify the £10.
It doesn't even have a safety cap on it. I mean, I'm furious at Gales.
But you are going to have to do an update once you've opened it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's
Whether
true,
it's actually...
a favourite thing. It might be my least favourite thing by next week. Fine, £10 chocolate spread.
I will say that, I mean, it doesn't a damn sight better than Nutella because it is 55% hazelnut. which is my favourite nut.
Well, it's probably really good for you.
Second ingredient is sugar, George. Great favourite thing. I'm
Thanks.
slightly dubious. Keep me updated.
Zip clips and chocolate spread. What more do you need in 2022?
Jen, do you want to go?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm loving the name Zip Clip too.
Zip clip.
It's nice to say.
Say
Zip
it.
clip.
Zip
So
clip.
in Canada, we don't talk about cable ties. We call them zip strips and zap straps, depending on how big they are.
Zap straps.
The zap straps are the bigger ones.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
zip
Zap
strips,
strap.
zip strips are the smaller ones. And then I came here and everyone just calls them cable ties. And I'm like, that's actually deeply boring.
Zap straps.
Zap strap.
I want to scream that across the building side. Get me a zap strap.
Yeah, and
some zap
then you
strap
could
stat.
put your zip clips into that party and...
Yeah, it's a whole situation.
I mean, you could
thing.
just take that to a fetish night, really, couldn't you? It is a bit like that. It's borderline.
Zap straps.
Zap
You could name a night zap straps.
Zip strip, zap strap.
I think my current favourite thing
Yeah.
is just before Christmas, I went with my friend to Glastonbury and I bought myself a moon diary. So it's like a daytimer, like a regular diary, but it has the stage of the moon and the sun and all of the. It's an amazing astrological kind of calendar but it's set up like a regular daytimer, and it has a space when there's a new moon. It has a space for putting in your new moon intentions.
That's really gorgeous.
And so I'm getting up every morning now and I'm checking it, and I know what time the sun is up and I know what time the moon's rising and I know where the moon is in its cycle, and I'm getting quite geeky about it all.
And
That's
how has it changed your outlook on things? That sounds like something that I really could do with being in tune with.
I've always loved being in tune with the moon cycle,
Yeah.
but sometimes you get really busy and you're not quite sure. You kind
fuck
of
is
lose
going on?
track of. It's hard enough knowing that it's Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing where the moon is as well. But I'm starting to see, you start to see like parallels and things. You go, oh, yeah, it is a full moon. It's the first full moon of the new year tonight.
It's nice.
Yes.
Oh, magic.
I love a full moon.
That's really nice.
And so now I'm starting to relate things that are going on in my life. I'm going, we're at that point in the cycle. So
That's
yeah,
nice.
It's lovely.
Okay, I'm going to look up
I
a
love
moon
the
diary.
idea of setting intentions because, the beginning of a full moon, beginning of the cycle, end of the cycle.
I'm going to write
So
down
at the
moon
new
diary.
moon, so the full moon is in the mid-cycle and then it goes dark and then the new moon
Oh, okay, amazing.
comes.
I'm getting a moon diary. Thanks for the top tip.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lovely favourite thing.
That's
Shit,
gorgeous.
My one's crap.
No, yours is nice.
It's fucking banana pancakes, isn't it?
Oh, I thought you were doing your ding.
My what? Oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Where?
But also, banana pancakes, yum.
Yeah. Banana pancakes with hazelnut spread. I mean,
Now she wants the hazelnut spread. I hadn't even thought of that. That's definitely.
Chicken yolk.
I thought it was in your pocket.
Hi, I'm back. So, besides banana pancakes, which is so simple, there's only 3 ingredients. Mush up a banana, put like 2 tablespoons of like gluten-free flour, if you like me, and just a little pinch of salt and fry that up. It's bloody
Oh, so
lovely.
literally no milk or anything?
Well, I'll add milk if I really need it. But
Okay.
a ripe banana is very liquidy.
Because when you said banana pancakes to me, I was thinking like regular banana, like a crepe with banana cut up in it.
Oh, no.
But no, like actually
banana's
making the
batter.
pancake as the batter.
Yeah, sometimes you might need to loosen it, but bananas are surprisingly liquidy. guys.
Yeah, when you smush them up, they go real. You don't want to leave one of those in the bottom of your paintbrush bag.
We've all done
We've all been there.
But my other favourite thing, Sam Wire gave me a desk, and in the desk was collections of shite. Some of it very useful, some of it not so much. But this, I was like, why the fuck is there a tuning fork by John Walker, Tune to C?
It's quite a beautiful one. It's sort of a gunmetal blue.
It really is. And I was like, I gave it a go, so I bashed it on something, put it to my ear, and I was like, oh my God, world peace. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, nothing else exists, just the sound of sea. Oh, that's nice. And then I realised it's my favourite thing.
That's really nice.
And when I'm on the tube, when everything sucks, I just, give it a bash and see.
Slightly reminds me of when I was wearing a necklace made out of little shells,
Yeah.
and Phoenix just grabbed it and put it to his ear and was like, I can hear the sea.
It's very
It
important.
was so cute.
But it's things like that that are just moments of absolute peace that I'm like, oh, fuck, I didn't even think I could meditate, but now I can.
Yeah. It's like, have you ever had a sound
the tune of
bath?
C. What? What's
Have you
a
ever
sound
done
bath?
a sound bath?
No.
Oh, my friend Matisse does them. He's a drummer. He trained as an incredible drummer, and he has bought like a proper set of gongs and crystal bowls. And you lie on a mat and you close your eyes, and he plays just these incredibly calming sounds, deep gong rattles, like crystal bowl. It's mega. And at his wife's 40th birthday party, the morning after, when we were all really hungover, we just lay in the grass and had the sound bath. And I have never felt more happy about being a person than that moment. I think it was incredible. We should get you one. You'd really like it.
I think so.
You'd probably
'cause,
love
like,
it.
If you're doing that every 5 minutes, you'd really like it.
it's really getting me in. If you suffer from sensory overload, guys, just get yourself
Get a
one of
tuning
these.
fork.
And it's, I'm really chilled to the tune of C.
Cool.
Yeah.
For my 40th, we went to Berlin for the weekend with a group of friends. One of the best weekends ever. The same thing, morning after the night before, we decided to go to the Liquidrome, which is like these baths and saunas and things. And they had a sauna there where they were doing sound baths in the sauna.
Oh, wow.
So you're just sitting in like this, just dripping in this heat. And I love the heat. So you're just letting everything from the night before sweat out of you. And someone's just hitting these bowls and the sounds like reverberating around. It was quite surreal, actually.
It's
I need to
really
do one of these
magical, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really interesting because I was always a little bit snobby about them and like, really? And then you experience one and you're like, wow, your brain really likes having that quite spooky noise.
I didn't even realise that one single sound could be so enchanting.
Well, it's like, quite a lot of people who have anxiety listen to white noise. That's the thing, isn't it? Where it's like, it just kind of shuts off everything else.
It's like, Alex, could you just put some white noise in right now? Thank you.
Right, let's learn more about Jenn and the Unicorn Theatre. Let's just start out by learning a bit about you. Tell us what you do, who you are, what this place is.
Oh, so many things. Well, I was going to say my work life, but actually that's kind of a boring pigeonhole, isn't it? So I work as the production and technical director at the Unicorn Theatre.
It's a big job.
It's a big job. We produce theatre for young people, and that's anywhere from 6 months of age to 13 years of age. It's a beautiful, purpose-built theatre made for smaller humans. So sinks and seats and everything are made for children.
Really considered like that.
Yeah, really considered. And I've been here almost 4 years. And it's a really special place to work. I also have sort of my own artistic and design practice that I do when I'm not here. Well, I was going to say when I'm not here, but actually, I'm crossing over.
You designed a Christmas show here, didn't you?
I did. I had the privilege of designing the Christmas show here, Scrunch, which is by Sarah Argent and Kevin Lewis. And
that looked so great.
Did that in the Clore Theatre. So that's lovely to be able to bring that part of what I do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been a production manager for a number of years. I've been a stage manager, a designer.
And an actor as well.
Yeah, I was a performer for a long time. So, sort of all the artsy things.
Done all the things. It's like you're a thoroughly well-rounded theatrical practitioner.
I do like the term, theatre artist or theatre practitioner. Yeah. Because I think you can be multiple things. I don't know. People like to understand what you are in a label-y kind of way sometimes.
It's very difficult, isn't it?
We just say, I just say artist.
Yeah, artist now,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's difficult to explain that you're a scenic painter and illustrator and you can't...
Like I'm a photographer and I'm a scenic and I also trained as a stage manager and I'm all of these things. And that's actually what we first fell in love with Jenn about. It was like your career and your path and your journey to this gorgeous place.
And that was on Marvin's Binoculars, wasn't it?
Goosebumps just talking about it.
Yeah, we started on Marvin's, that's right.
Yeah.
And Marvin's Binoculars was so much joy.
That was quite an important piece because, tell us more about it, wasn't it in the middle, was it in the middle of lockdown? Or because it was being digitalised so it could get to people?
Yeah, exactly. So obviously when the world went upside down, in 2020, we needed to find a different way to reach our audiences and a different way to provide the art and the experiences. So we started doing a lot of digital work, and Marvin's Binoculars was one of those pieces. So it's originally an idea from Justin Audebert, our artistic director, and Sam Wire, of course, designed it. It's had a life as a digital piece. It's had a life as a schools tour. Now it's coming back as a full-blown stage experience. So
exciting.
Yeah, it's indicative of what we all kind of went through in the pandemic, just sort of going, how do we do work now? And what does that look like? And then what life does it have when we start to return? And what are we bringing with us? And
it was the theatres really, like I really noticed this in lockdown, it was the theatres that went, how do we get this to people? Because people, you know, like the Met put loads of their shows online. Hamilton went on Disney.
Gotta say,
online,
that was it was nice to watch all the shows that you can't afford.
It was incredible, but it was the theatres going, how do we make this attainable? Because people, I think it gets sort of, you forget, I think especially with kids, like when we came to see The Bolds, which we can get onto in a minute, watching the kids watching that show.
It's the favourite part of my job.
Yeah.
It's just captivating, isn't it, watching the kids?
Yeah.
George worked just before Christmas on a show called The Bowls.
The Bowls by Julian Clary.
Which is a collection of books, kids' books, which are fantastic. George worked on that. And then when we went to see it, you were there, Jen, and my son was there. And, oh, gosh, his little face. It was, And then it was online. It's not online now.
No, it was a limited.
I don't want to tell him because we've watched it so many times. There was this brilliant bit, and there was gorgeous actors in it, really, really well performed. That's actually something that I really admire about the Unicorn. They do not scrimp on actors. You get the best actors, like brilliant technical background and like gorgeous set done by real designers. Nothing patronises children here. It's fucking great.
No, and that's one of the main goals that we have. Like, it's the art first. And it shouldn't matter that it's for children if you're just thinking about the quality of it and the professionalism and the intensity and what you're putting into it. You know, why should art for children be less than in any way?
Yeah, exactly.
If anything, it should be more than, really, shouldn't it? I think
they notice more. Like I think in a way adults can be quite lazy with their imaginations, and you can accept things. Whereas with a child, you need to convince them that that's the case, because otherwise they'll be like, "You're not a dinosaur. That's not a fish. You're not." You know, they register it, and so you really have to pull them in, right?
Gosh, that's something I've never really considered. Is that something changes when you go from being a child and you become an adult? Not necessarily for us artists, but you know, we're pretty lucky. But it's a tricky thing to translate what's in our world to embellish their world. How do you kind of tackle that?
I think they're twofold. I think they can be brutally honest.
Yes.
You know, it's not, you don't get audiences here that just sort of sit back and go, oh, well, that was nice. And, you know, like if you don't have them, boy, do you know about it. So they kind of do this thing where sometimes they catch you on things and it's like something, they don't accept something because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And other times they're just willing to suspend that disbelief.
Yeah.
But I think they pick up on what you've put into the show.
Yeah.
So if you haven't gone 100%, if you've cut a corner, that's when they'll call you out. But if they see
what kind of things do they say?
Oh God, I've got like a running list.
Go on, hit us with some if you can remember.
I mean, well, we had one we were doing. Not Now Bernard, which has this big...
Not Now Bernard.
Yeah, and got then a big monster in it. And they all know the book, so they know the monster is coming. And it gets to that moment, and there was this small child sitting in front of me, and as the monster came out, they were just rocking back and forth and going, it's only a people's. It's only a people's. Because they knew they were in a theatre, they knew it wasn't real, and yet they were ready to go, oh my God, it's a monster. Yeah. So they walk this kind of fine line between it. And sometimes, you know, we use a lot of haze in the theatre, especially for the lighting effects, and sometimes they love it and they're kind of, it's mysterious. And then we had one child at one point just went, the bedroom's on fire.
Gosh.
and it's just theatrical
Reduce
haze.
the haze.
And you just, you're never quite sure where they're going to land. But that's why we do as many previews as we do.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because
kind of
we're
troubleshoot
gauging
it.
and we want to see a family's audience and we want to see a school's audience and understand how are they reacting to it, what do they think.
And does that inform the director? Okay.
So it informs everything.
Okay.
Yeah, from the volume of things right down to, is the story translating?
I think also that's such an interesting point that they know the stories. Like,
Yeah, a lot of the times they do.
I did a Midsummer Night's Dream over the summer, and I got given the script, and I didn't know how edited it was. You know, like they'd obviously taken out a lot, but I don't know Midsummer Night's Dream that well. So you kind of accept it, and the audience will listen to it and be like, "Well, sure, that's about right." But a kid with a storybook, they'll be like, "You missed out a chunk. Where's this bit? Where's that bit?" I think that's. Really
Although
intriguing.
sometimes adults do that too.
Yeah, that's true.
I went to a staged reading of some Dylan Thomas, and there were people sitting there following along in the book.
Well, that's just rude.
Oh wow, that's really intense.
Very strange.
Intense. Actually, do you know? You just reminded me of we did Les Enfants at the Vaults with Alice Adventures Underground. There was a kids version of that, and like the people who had kids brought their kids along. Were you at Alice's Adventures Underground?
I did see that. Yes.
It's a scary show. It's a scary ass show. And we brought these kids around. There must have been about 5 or 6. They bawled. It was too scary. You couldn't see. Because it was immersive theatre, because they were in it, because there was haze, because there was no way out. They were like,
But also that venue is horrifying. I get scared in the vaults when I'm working there. You know, you go to the loo on your own. It's terrifying.
we love the Vaults, by the way.
Absolutely,
We
like
love the
gorgeous,
Vaults.
like love
But,
it.
you know,
It's spooky.
I loved that the directors then said, "Oh, okay, we got to rethink this a little bit and make sure that they know, like, you know, the universal like movie rating. That's because you know that. What do? They resolve it. They go, hey, we're going to have an adventure and we're okay in the end.
Yeah,
you have to do that.
Yeah,
God, it's tricky, isn't it? I think working for kids shows is just the biggest learning curve, isn't it?
Well, I found it the last couple of years working here has been so nice. Because
like
it's
we
completely
just talk about
new.
it all the time.
Yeah, no, like it's so incredible, and like the detail that goes into it is sort of amazing. How do you go about programming it and sort of working out what shows are going to be for who? Because obviously the audiences are so separated.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of jigsawing together. It's one of the other things that makes the Unicorn a really lovely place to work is that most of us are involved in that process, so it's not sort of
it's a real collaboration kind of thing.
Yeah, so you're looking for, sometimes we're looking for stories that they know. Other times you might be looking for an idea that's resonating right now. You know, maybe we do consider what they're doing in schools, because we do have so many schools audiences, and
like
that's
curriculum
lovely.
match kind of
to
thing.
bring the teachers in, and so it's a whole mix. And then we've got to make sure that we've got something in the offer for all the different age ranges, and when is the show going on? So is this likely to be a family or a schools predominantly? So there's all these moving pieces.
It's a whole big thing.
Yeah,
How many's in the team?
So we're led by our artistic director, Justin Audebert.
We've met him.
Yes.
Yes, he's lovely, wonderful.
And our executive director, and then there's about 4 other directors in different. So I do production, and there's finance, and there's engagement, and I'm going to forget one, and then someone's going to listen to this. Marketing,
It's like getting an Oscar.
development.
It's like, thanks, Jenn.
And then our producing team. So there's probably, I think there's about 25 of us on staff. Now, not all of those people are in the artistic conversations, but the bulk of them are at some point.
Okay, that's reassuring to know.
That's amazing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So you've had this incredibly meandering career that is and
checkered.
It's fantastic though. I love that, and that's why I think we connected with you. But like over the past few years, I'd say you got a couple of decades of like theatre and acting and all of that. What is the highlight? What's the thing that keeps you going?
I love it as an art form. Like, I still, after all these years, want to go to theatre. Working in it and being in it hasn't dulled the fact that I love to go to it.
Yeah, us too, I suppose.
So it's a really magical thing, and I think it's, and this is speaking purely for myself, obviously not for the unicorn, but I struggle with watching things on screens. Actually, it's not how my brain takes in information.
Sure.
And I don't always enjoy watching theatre when it's been filmed.
That was a big old problem in the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a problem for me. It really was, because I didn't want to sit and to me it's a communal thing, and it's being in that theatre, and it's something live, and it's happening that I love. So I'm just so happy to be able to come back to that and start going to theatre again and start making theatre again. Because it's that live element, and that also bit of you're never quite sure what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, that's the best bit, isn't it?
You hope you know.
Have you had anything go wrong in shows?
Oh God,
I love this bit of the story. I just love asking this question, because then we get people going feedback going, that's relatable.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I wouldn't even know where to. There's always something.
And with kids' theatre, like the stakes are just probably quite a bit higher.
Yeah. And you just, you get through it, and you don't. I think I could really, really minimal amount of times that I've actually seen a show stop.
Oh God, has the show stopped here?
There was a show stopped.
Go on, tell us why.
We had this huge hydraulic wall that needed to come down, and there was some things had gone wrong, and there was a hurried moment, and one of the support struts hadn't been taken off, so the hydraulics started coming down, and it jammed. The kids loved it, so we had to stop the show, and we actually had to get an angle grinder and cut through the support strut for this particular wall.
Well, that's kind of a show in a show.
Well, yeah. It was the interval, and they're just watching these sparks flying. Yeah, they thought it was.
Who doesn't
cool.
love an angle grinder?
We did not think it was fun or cool.
No, I mean, it's horrifying. I was working on a TV show recently, and they had a stage that opened and then closed on hydraulics. And the walk round for the art department was on one side of the stage. And no one was saying anything. No one was shouting, it's going dark. No one was doing any of those things. And I'm walking around, and suddenly the stage just starts opening, and I can see this like Indiana Jones style, like running down the corridor, trying not to get squished. And I found it really funny, but actually, those kinds of things are so watching it happen during a show is really.
You never want to see it.
Really scary.
I had it as a performer. I was working on a show. It was in a thrust setting, and it had this huge sort of swing platform that would come up to different points in the stage, and these hooks would go in behind it and hold it in place, so we would be performing at different heights. And we were in the middle of a show, and the back ripped out of the platform, and I was standing on it, and it was at it was about,
it was a height.
Seem that high, but it was at height, and it swung down, and it was on these 4 lines from the center of the stage, and it just swung out to the audience, and I went off the back of it.
Oh my God.
And landed on the stage. But the scariest part was it started
to come back.
It started to come back at me.
Oh.
And it was actually a couple of audience members jumped up and grabbed
incredible.
the lines on it. Yeah.
Because that's always the worst one on those videos. It's like normally when a kid falls off a swing and they fall off and they're fine, but then when they stand up, the swing boshes the one. That's horrible.
So, I mean, that's a huge part of my job.
Is to risk assess all of that.
To risk assess all of this.
Love a risk assessment.
Not have these things happen. And the fact that actually, when the wall thing happened, no one got hurt because the safeties were in place. There was a procedure, there was a show stop called, and everything was fine. Broke a strut. But no one was in danger. And that's what you always even when something goes wrong, you just never want someone actually in danger. That's not.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that was my stage management degree is we really learned how to assess every risk. And that's so important. Yeah. It's boring. It's not to me. I love risk assessment. But it's life and death sometimes.
Yeah. But also, I mean, I don't know, you do see ridiculous things. And I when I first moved to London, I was crap at a risk assessment because I hadn't seen anything go wrong. And then after 15 years, you're like, that's
fucked.
I've seen that happen.
I just wanted to end with this question. And I think anybody out there listening,
would love to hear this. Like, we're all in quite a privileged position. You've got this amazing theatre job. Me and George have this like lovely meandering career as well. How would you advise somebody to get where you are, if you know what I mean?
I think production management is a really interesting job because, I mean, there are courses out there now. There weren't when I started out. You didn't go and study to be a production manager.
It just happened.
Yeah, it happens. But it happens because you have an understanding of what everybody else is doing. And that means that you can be sort of the center of the hub, and you know who needs what information, and you're looking at everything that comes into you with a view of how it's affecting all the other parts of the show. So I think the best thing to do is to have that slightly checkered career for a while and go do some lighting and work in, costume and go and experience what it's like to be a stage manager and the more that you can understand all the various bits and pieces that go into a show, I think the better production manager you become, because you get what everybody else is doing.
You're the conductor. Isn't that magical?
It's so, but also you can feel it working here. Like it's so, whenever we've been here working and you talk to anyone in the building, there's an understanding that there's a huge crossover. I think oftentimes you can have, I've worked on stuff where the costume department's way over here and the art department's way over there, and then lighting and sound are over there, and no one's actually talking. And having the person in the middle who can communicate and glue everyone together is like fundamental. It's incredible.
It really is. I mean, it's my favorite thing about productions is when everyone's talking.
Yeah. And it's so important to understand the show as well and why you're doing the show and the artistic choices behind the show. Because then, especially as a production manager, when you're kind of up against it and you're trying to get something done and you need to offer options, if you understand the show, you offer better options to people.
Exactly.
My whole job is understanding what the director and the designer and the other creative team members are trying to do and then facilitating that.
Cool.
That's a huge responsibility. And it shows in the shows. I mean,
going to see the balls was so, it was so sweet because we were with Stella and Phil, who were the other scenics working with us.
You could listen to Phil, he's on episode 9, and the pencils are on the dresser.
The pencils are on the dresser. And we all went to see it with Phoenix, and it was it was so incredible watching those actors create that.
It's a
energy.
real testament to theatre when you can leave it and say, I was there for the whole time. Do you know what I mean? You're not thinking about your phone, you're not thinking about your laundry, you're not thinking about anything except the brilliant moments. There was this brilliant moment where they went underground and they went to get Tony because they were going to kill Tony. And they got him, they did this little dance there, the hoo, ha.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And then for like a week, me and Phoenix were walking to school like hoo, ha, hoo, ha, ha, ha. Like I was like, it stuck with us because there was real magic in it and everybody was doing their job. And that's why your job as a production technician is so important.
Is there anything you'd like to plug on this episode that you've got coming up this year? What are the big exciting
tell us about
shows and challenges that are going to happen?
Well, one thing that's coming up. Well, Marvin is having a life again. Marvin's Binoculars is coming back.
Amazing.
And we'll be in the West End, our main auditorium. But also we're bringing back 2 shows that they're just beautiful shows, Gulliver's Travels and Wild.
Oh, amazing.
And they were the 2 shows that got closed in the very first lockdown. So back in March 2020, it was we all just had the most bizarre experience. We're still living in it, but it's just so strange. But I remember that last week, and half the time I was in the theatres putting the shows up, and the other half the time we were having conversations about, are we going to have to take them down? Like, what are we doing? What on earth is going on?
So you're still building them while you're talking about
We're still building them
down.
while we're talking about what on earth is going to happen and are we closing? And so I believe Gulliver's got to dress rehearsal and Wild had one preview and they both closed and they're coming back and it's such a joy to bring them back.
Brilliant.
And to give them those shows and those teams that opportunity that they all worked, because you worked so hard.
Well, we know that you like working in theatre isn't, well, we can tell you this, kids, for free. It's not for the money. Like you're never going to get rich in theatre. Sorry. And anything that you go and see in a theatre like the Unicorn, it's going to be made and stuck together with love, desire, passion, all of those brilliant things. And that's what you're saying about Gulliver's Travels. And what's the other show? Wild.
Wild, yeah. So it just, such a joy to bring those back and know that all of that hard work is going to...
That's really amazing. And also, like, after the last couple of years, I'm really glad that people are bringing back the shows that they missed, because I think some places, I know certainly some of the places that Al was working for, they kind of book their shows 3 years in advance. Mm-hmm. So they just got cancelled. They didn't have the ability to bring them back because they'd already done a 3-year kind of calendar. So that's really incredible that you're able to do that.
It does feel like theatre's kind of coming up to take a breath now. It's, we've all been through this horrible trauma where our dreams got shattered. I'm not going to feather it up, or what is it called when you dress something up?
Dress something up.
I'm not going to dress up the fact, but like, we've all been through this terrible trauma.
Yeah.
We've all had to kind of pick up the pieces, and we're doing okay. And I feel like it's coming back together again, and I'm starting to enjoy theatre.
And also, I think if you look at theatre tickets and you think, oh, that's a bit expensive, think about how much free theatre you got over the last 2 years on Sky and online and on television. And buy some tickets, guys.
Buy some tickets, because the Bowls will be maybe one of Phoenix's first memories, and we've got the book from it, and it's an experience that money can't buy, even though money can buy it. So buy some theatre tickets.
I told my mum that I'd bought the Bolds book for Phoenix when we were coming to see the show, and she was like, well, you must get it signed. And I was like, I don't think Julian Clary's going to be in the show. I think he wrote it. I'm not going to meet him. It was so cute.
Did you get to meet Julian Clary?
Yes, yeah.
What's he like?
He was lovely. He was really lovely.
Of course he's lovely. He wrote the Bowls.
But it's funny what you're saying about the tickets, because I've been running this carbon literacy training and working a lot around sustainability and things, and doing a lot of thinking about and teaching about sort of the systems that we have to work in. And, this thing that we call the market forces, etc. But we need to put whatever money we do have, and I know some of us have more than others and some of us don't have much, but whatever we do have, that it's going to things that matter to us, that, it's really paying attention to what that's going to. And buying a theatre ticket is, I think, that's where I want to put it.
Living.
Yeah, but it's conscious choices.
And I think a lot of the time people think that you're supporting the theatre, but you're supporting, if you take the ticket price and you go, some of that goes to the scenic, and some of that goes to the carpenter, and some of that goes to the lighting team, and some of that goes to the sound, and some of that, and the actual number of people that you're providing job opportunities for just by buying a theatre ticket is astounding, really. It's amazing.
And as well, if you're into the environment, theatre people tend to really love the environment. So, I mean, like, a lot of theatres, especially the Unicorn, are becoming more kind of carbon-minded, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you're no exception to that. I love that about this theatre. And I love that about the scenic world is changing as well.
Yeah,
like, people are
nice.
stop using really poisonous shit.
Yeah,
we'll get into that another time. As
a whole.
Before we finish up, just give us some social media information. So Instagrams, Facebook pages, anything that people can log on to and listen to.
Or anything?
Yeah, so the Unicorn is unicorntheatre.com. We have a beautiful new website.
Nice.
Really easy to navigate. So all of our shows are up there, all of our information on our engagement projects, etc. I'm really bad at self-promotion. I don't have loads, but I am at, my Instagram is Jenn Stitches with a double N.
That's what you do.
Yeah. So some of my work is up there, and various...
We've seen you with, like, come in with beautiful jeans that we were like, where did you get that? Is that Chanel? It's like, no, I made it. You're such a talent in so many ways, and everything that you do is just a little bit magic.
This has been such a treat.
Yeah,
Thank
really
you so much for having me.
Can we walk down the road to Jose's and we'll do cocktail moment in a lovely little wine bar?
Thank you so much,
Thank
Jenn.
you, guys.
That was such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Oh, so we're just, where are we? Bermondsey Street, isn't it?
108? No, 104, Bermondsey Street.
And we've just sat down and we've got little plates and glasses of water, and it's ever so pleasant. And even though we're outside, it's still warm because this is a lovely heater.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was when we were doing, was it when we were doing Marvin's? No, it was when we were doing the mural.
We did the mural and then we came straight down here because we were just out of a lockdown. It felt like it still felt quite traumatic.
We hadn't been out. So Ra, Fifi and I, the 3 days that we were working there, came here for dinner every night. And we just like waddle home after 2 bottles of wine.
But we just needed a bit
of
of a break, you know? Like we just needed to because we hadn't seen each other in ages.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't like the past 2 years. They kind of messed me up a little bit. Oh, thank you. Cheers. How glorious.
That's the sound part.
That's interesting.
How cute are these beautiful, colourful olives?
Oh, what if they sprinkled on it? I think it's oregano.
We went to a tapas restaurant that a friend of ours works at with Phoenix. And obviously, age 5, tapas is not going to be your vibe.
No.
But we invented Phoenix Food Critic.
Well, thank you.
So everything he tasted, he had to do a little on-camera spiel about. And most of it he absolutely hated. But he was at least eating it. He was going, oh, yuck, Padron peppers are horrible. But he'd had 2 of them because we'd filmed it twice. It was really
it's my new trick with him. It's like, can you do Phoenix Food Critic? And then I can get him to try all the food. It works.
It's really cute, isn't it?
It really works. I don't do anything with the videos, but they're like cute.
No, but keep going until he's a bit older and then they'll be really...
I'd love it if one day... Like, how did he dislike all of the cheese?
It was the context. If any of those cheeses had been in a different situation...
If it's not plain pasta, I'm not having it.
That's
basically it.
Because it was all pretty easy cheese to get. I can understand the blue ones not liking, but...
Too much altogether?
Oh, well.
Did we order enough food?
Yeah, perfect. Tell you what, I'll put that down for a minute.
What is that? Bread and tomatoes.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
It's so simple, but it's one of the most delicious things I've ever...
All right, let's
Well,
all try
cheers, guys.
it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Pan con tomate. It's so good, right? Like, it's so simple and beautiful. But then you can tell the time it's like taking off the skin. Boiling them, taking off the skin, smushing it. Incredible.
Well, that shut us up, didn't it?
We finish off this episode by going to one of our favourite bars, Jose's, on Bermondsey Street. And we've had some lovely drinks and some beautiful food, and it's been a real treat today.
If you want to follow us or support us, you can do so at www.patreon.com/artists@work. There's loads of different gifts and kind of perks that you can get from signing up and supporting us. Or just follow us on Instagram. It's at artists that are working. That's it, isn't it? It's
Please follow our Patreon and get in touch on Instagram. It's just so nice hearing from you guys. So any information you want to give us about what's going on in London, what shows you're involved in, or what projects you've got coming up as theatres begin to open, it's really important to let our guests know about it. So.
And hey, I'm totally going to level with all our listeners. We rely on you for spread of the podcast. It is a really small company. We are currently sitting together and there is 3 of us. So please tell people and spread the word about this podcast. We're independently made and we're doing our best. So help us a little bit by just saying, listen to our podcast. That's the best thing that you can do for us.
Here's to theatre, guys.
Oh yeah, to theatre. I really like theatre. Glorious.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We love you.
I also love you too. I'm talking to a big hairy mic. It's like I can. Yeah.
How did you meet him?